Hey, welcome to The Explainer. So, we all hear it, right? The future of energy, it's all about batteries. But what if I told you the real key to unlocking their power isn't actually in the battery? Today, we're going to dig into the brains behind the battery. All right, let's just dive right in with this idea from our source material. It's kind of provocative. Smart talent is greater than smarter batteries. Whoa. I mean, what does that even mean? For years, all we've heard is we need better, more efficient batteries. That's the whole game, right? But this suggests there's something else in the mix, something maybe even more valuable. I mean, you see it everywhere, right? Solar panels popping up, huge wind turbines on the horizon, these massive battery farms. The energy transition is definitely happening. But here's the real question, the one that matters for the bottom line. With all this shiny new hardware, where does the profit actually come from? Because, and this is the key, it's not as simple as just plugging it all in. And that leads us perfectly into our first section here, the battery paradox. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's this tricky little problem that's the difference between a battery that just works and one that actually makes money. So here's the paradox in a nutshell. You could go out and buy the biggest, baddest, most advanced battery on the planet. But if that's all you do, you've just bought a really, really expensive box. The real challenge, the multi-billion-dollar problem, is figuring out how to make that box profitable. It's all about knowing precisely when to buy power low, charge it up, and when to sell it high by discharging it. And you have to do that in these insanely complex energy markets to even see a return. Okay, so if the hardware by itself isn't the answer, then what is? Well, that's where we see this huge shift in thinking happening all over the world. We're moving from a focus on just hardware to a focus on brain power. And this slide just nails that shift. For 100 years? Where did energy value come from? It came from physical stuff, right? Oil fields. You drilled a hole in the ground. The new gold rush? It's not in the ground, it's in data fields. We're talking about mining these massive, non-stop streams of information. Everything from market prices and weather forecasts to grid demand and which power plants are down. And that change just keeps going. You know those old movies with the crazy trading floors, people yelling and throwing paper? That energy hasn't vanished. It's just been digitized and pointed directly at energy storage. The core ideas are exactly the same. You're still talking arbitrage, managing risk, making trades, but the asset is brand new, and it's all happening at the speed of light on a millisecond timescale. So if you take one thing away from this section, it's this. The energy transition, it's not really a hardware revolution. It's an intelligence revolution. What's powering it is this global network of smart people who can take all that messy data, make sense of it, and then turn it into real strategic action. Which, of course, brings us to the main characters of our story, the new experts of the energy world. So let's talk about who these people are and how exactly they unlock all this hidden value. Yeah, and look at this list. These are not your grandpa's energy jobs. We're talking about a totally new kind of expert. Think about it. It's like you take the high-speed finance world of Wall Street, smash together with the tech brain power of Silicon Valley, and then blend in the hardcore engineering know-how of the old-school energy industry. It's this crazy powerful mix. Now, you've probably heard of most of these roles, right? Engineers, data scientists, but quant might be a new one. A quant is short for quantitative analyst. Basically, think of them as a financial wizard who speaks in math. They're the ones building these super complex models that are absolutely critical for dealing with the wild swings and risks you see in today's energy markets. So, what's the day job for all these experts? This slide sums it up perfectly. Their job is to be chaos translators. They take all that insane market data and magically turn it into profitable battery capacity. Using things like forecasting, optimization, and trading, they take that expensive box we mentioned earlier and transform it into a living, breathing, money-making digital asset. Okay, great. So now we know we need this super specific, very high-level talent. The problem? These folks are rare, and they are not cheap. So how do you get access to them efficiently? Well, that brings us to this next idea, the on-demand talent grid, basically talent as a service. And our source material points to one model for this called the CYNQ Talent Grid, or CTG. The best way to think about it, it's like the Hollywood studio system, but for energy. You know how for a movie you don't hire director, actors, and a lighting crew for life? No, you assemble the perfect team for that one project. It's the same idea here. Instead of trying to hire a huge, expensive, permanent team, you tap into this global network and build your dream team on demand for exactly what you need, right when you need it. So how does this actually play out in the real world? It's pretty cool. It's basically 4 steps. First, an operator has a challenge. Let's say you've just built a new battery farm in Texas, a super volatile market where prices can jump from like $30 to $5,000 in a matter of minutes when a heat wave hits. Okay, step 2, you assemble your team from the grid. You grab the perfect quant who can model that crazy price volatility, a trader who knows the Texas market backwards and forwards, and a data scientist who can predict when the grid is about to get stressed. Step 3, that A team gets to work and they start making money by catching those insane price spikes. And then step 4, and this is so important, is scale. The network lets you grow that team or shrink it down whenever you need to. It really is talent as a service. All right, so all of this is pointing to a really interesting conclusion about where this whole industry is going. So let's kind of zoom out for a second and talk about energy's digital future. We're talking about the shift from just making power to actually making a profit. So what's the big idea here? What's the main takeaway? It's that the most valuable things in energy's future aren't just the physical objects, the batteries, the solar panels. The real value is becoming more and more digital. Think of it this way. A battery is just hardware, but a profitable battery, that's a digital asset. It's constantly being molded and optimized by smart software and even smarter people. And that, right there, is why this matters to pretty much everyone in this space. If you want to be profitable in the future of energy, you have to build bridges. You've got to connect the people who own the stuff, the operators, with the tech whizzes and the traders who know how to turn that stored power into actual money. And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As energy itself basically turns into code, who's going to be writing that code? Who's writing the future? And based on everything we've seen, the answer isn't buried in a mine or an oil field anymore. It's in the minds of this new generation of energy experts. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.